Hey everyone, welcome back to another Diablo 2 Resurrected build guide video. This time around it's a budget variant of my Magic Find HORKER Barb. And yeah, I'm going to show you the gear, the skill tree and so on. I'd say we hop in some runs real quick. This will be not a walk in the park as if with the endgame gear. But nevertheless, it's a good starting point. That's somewhat what I started. The character, like I have points remaining and so on. The character simulates a level 75. Yeah, they go down fairly quickly. I show you the gear and everything after the run. Also, sometimes when they spawn with nasty affixes, just skip. Just go into the next game. That's what I do. Just a waste of time. Like I want to have this... oh my god, I thought it's a sewer rune. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I thought it's way more efficient to just leave and do another run. You know what I mean? Like that happened also. Ooh, there's a good rune. This is the... Believe it or not, this is the very first run. This is the very first run. Yeah, I also look at like rare items. I don't pick up everything. Imagine this is a Tyrusha amulet. Yeah, you could pick up really everything. Every gem, every Ral rune. I personally don't do that. But yeah, you could. Also, a little tip, I mentioned that in another video as well, but there's so much loot dropping. You should press F to zoom in, and then you cannot miss any loot. If you, let's say you are in a helmet very early, and you're lucky enough to like get your hands on the gear very early, you can as well farm Eldritch Shank and Pindle. They are way easier to kill. Very good loot table. Can also hork them. And yeah, I personally only sit in... I personally only sit in Trav. You know what? Okay. Okay, I swapped to my kick assassin real quick. Budget Horker is GG, man. Can you get load in this? Of course. No budget build will be ever budget enough. No high-end build will be ever high-end enough. But I think a certain starting point is required, okay? Like, the less gear you give him, the more a headache it becomes. So... That's a good any. Speaking of luck, some items are super important, like Rhyme. This is really good for Cannot Be Frozen, All Resist, Magic Find, offers everything the build wants, and is super easy to acquire. Another good source of Cannot Be Frozen would be the Travincal belt. The item you absolutely don't want on this character is a Ravenfrost, because it has cold damage. And when cold damage is added to the build, when this number gets blue, then they can shed to ice cubes and cannot loot them a second time when they shed to ice cubes. In my offhand, I'm using bow sticks shopped from Mala. Really good. This is maybe even better than 2 Alibabas, because it gives a boost to battle order and to find item. The weapon is out. I really like this rune word, and like a Mal rune is not that budget early on, but the base makes up for it. It's so easy to find the ethereal Berserk blade and then just do the quest from Lazuk, and it has 4 sockets. There's the base. So what a 4 socket monarch is for the sorceress is like the Berserk blade. That's for the barb. Yeah, the rune word is just crazy for level 53 and those type of runes. This is absolutely endgame viable, can be used for Ubers and not on a circle barb. But yeah, I've been using this for Ubers on a Frenzy Barb in combination with other weapons. Grief. For the boots, any boots with fire resist and preferably some magic find would do. I have those. We will run walk. Pretty neat. To hit the monsters, I'm running an Angeling combo to get the attack rating. And the boost to life is nice. For the armor, I have a Lionheart here. It's like a mini Fortitude. 20% enhanced damage, 25% strength, 25 to strength, which is really, really good for the Barbarian, 50 to life, and 30 all resist. I don't have any other build in mind which I would use a Lionheart with. I've never, if I play anything else like a Frenzy Barb or I don't know, a Kick Assassin or whatever, I go with anything else, Smoke, Treasury. But Lionheart, however, is really, really good for this setup. And it's a significant boost to damage early on. For those tapper runes, that's not too bad. For the helm, I'm using the IK helm. Helm is basically for free. I really think I got this helm either as a drop, because it's so common, or someone gave it just for free to me. So, and also socket roll runes in here, instead of gems for magic find. The gloves, any gloves with attack speed would do here. I like those for the attack rating and a little bit of fire resistance. Dwarf Star, super important for the fire absorb. Can be easily traded for. Belt, my actual belt is gold wrap. Preferably an upgraded one to have one more row for more rejuves. Make the runs less of a headache. For the juvies, like I don't farm them. If you play single player and you want to farm them, I think Act 1, Stony Field and areas like this are a good place to farm those pots for whatever reason. I personally trade for them. They are super, super cheap. I don't know. Like I bought entire inventory pages for like less than a lem. Yeah. And then I can just farm for a few runs at once. You know what I mean? It's absolutely necessary. It's absolutely necessary. Like you will have runs you have to skip. You will die. You will curse a lot. But the runs only get better. The runs only get better, especially the moment you equip Grief. That's what I would prioritize. I will not go too much into upgrades and things. I have another video for this up from like a year ago. But yeah, I would absolutely prioritize Grief. And the moment you have this, it's absolutely over it. The runs are so much faster and so on. For inventory, of course, a torch and any if you have one. I have those just as an example. Like I have a maxed out fire res almost yeah, without those charms. But I would look out for any all resist, any fire res charms, especially like those grand jobs. One in the inventory in combination with the points into natural resistance within the skill tree, and this is easily kept. Yep, that's it for the gear. Yo, let's talk about the skill tree here for a second. And I'm happy that I can show you this time around what I meant with how the synergy works. So at the beginning, like at the end, when the character is like level 90 plus, it doesn't really matter because they are both maxed out, almost maxed out anyways. But while leveling, it is crucial to skill them in the right order, okay? To get the most magic find out of this ability. And the thing is, at the beginning, find item gives like exactly 3% for the next one, okay? Now it says only 2% for the next one. Now it says only 1% for the next one. And when it says 1%, if you put one more point in here, then you pump up Find Potion, okay? Because all of a sudden, this gets more beneficial. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you have both maxed out. But it's super important to have those few points into Find Item. And then continue with skilling Find Potion. Even though you will probably rarely or never ever use this. Boom. And now you could continue speccing into Find Item with your remaining points. But I won't, because this simulates a low level character. Okay? That's the starter skill tree I had. Depending on your character's level, and or if you play hardcore, you can not focus too much on Find Item chance and put more points into battle orders. That's totally up to you. If you feel squishy, feel free to spend more points here. I'll do that later. Yeah, maybe a little bit more squishy, or maybe I have to skip a run or two. But on the other hand, I have a very good chance for all the extra loot, and that's what the build is all about. So yeah, therefore that's my skill tree. For the combat skills, was Oath is made in a sword, so 20 in blade mastery, 1 point in those. Why not run a little bit faster? 1 into iron skin and 1 X points into natural resistance. Depends on your inventory at this point. With absolutely no inventory, I have a maxed out fire resistance, and I have 11 points in here. 1 is from buff up. For the combat skills, the main attack is Berserk. This deals magic damage. This in combination with an Oath, or later even with a Grief, it's like a truck. Can literally one-shot a council member. Pretty fun to use. And the reason why I like Berserk, like it's not mandatory for a Travincal. Some people do this with Verbin, some people do this with Frenzy. But I think it's super easy to keep the damage output very high while still stacking Magic Find. Where on the other hand, when I play a Frenzy Barb, or Verbin is a better example. When I play a Verbin Barb, Verbin actually needs some damage items to a degree to really shine, you know what I mean? I cannot sacrifice so much when I play with Verbin. Whereas Berserk, good weapon plus Berserk, literally every other item could say Magic Find, and would still be decent damage output. So if you ask me, Berserk is absolutely the way to go with this. That's pretty much it for the build. It can escalate pretty quickly in terms of high rune drops, as well as just good loot in general. When I first heard about this setup, I couldn't believe it until I leveled 1. Thanks for watching and have a nice day, guys.